everyone. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing today? Ow. Say how y'all doing today? Ah. Okay, hey, how y'all doing? Sharise Johnson Moore here, your publishing consultant and visibility coach. Hello, hi, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. And today we are going to talk about how to be a great guest on any interview or a podcast. Okay. How to be a great guest on any interview or podcast because being invited is the only step. Being invited is only step one. Okay. You got to show up prepared. Showing up prepared, confident, and impactful is what opens doors for more opportunities. Hello, everyone, and how is everyone doing today? We are on day 18 of the 30 Days of Visibility YouTube series, and our topic is how to be a great guest on any interview or podcast. So let's get into these the 5 points. I always give 5 points now. 5 points. I'm gonna break them down. Okay. All right. So you know the platform and the audience. Okay. Know the platform and the audience. Okay. Research the host and the show. Okay. Don't just accept somebody coming to you, okay, I want you to be on my show, such. Okay, because back in the day, look, I was green, right? I was real green, right? I was green. And one time I was asked to be on the show. I did not I kind of did the research on the show. I kind of did it, but in aspect, I should have kind of listened to the podcast episodes. I should have listened to the shows before I agreed to be a guest on the show. And it wasn't a bad experience, but he changed the person that asked me, he changed the horse in the middle of the race. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. He changed the horse in the middle of the race, and I had to kind of like figure it out. But as they say, it is always, you know, it is always good to get to know the platform and the audience. Okay. Understand who you're speaking to, understand, your audience, what the audience consists of for that show. Um, what kind of audience do they have? Is the majority of men or women? And what are their major topics that they talk about? Okay. Align your message with the audience needs. As I've said, you want to understand the audience because then you'll know how to position yourself as a guest in that guest seat. Okay. Respect the platform's tone and format. Always respect the platform's tone and format. Okay. Well, it's nice, easy going. It's kind of a let the host lead. Don't take over the interview. Okay. That is not good thing for the guest to do, to kind of take over the interview and let me tell you about this and let me tell. When you're a guest on someone's show, always let the host lead. Always. Okay. Hello, everyone, and how are you doing? And thank you for coming in. I want to welcome you to day 18, how to be a great guest on any interview or podcast episode, right? So number one, we're talking about know the platform and the audience. Now going to number two is prepare your message, not a script. Okay. Prepare your message. Identify with 2 to 3 key talking points. Okay. Know your talking points. Know what you're going there to be prepared to speak about. Okay. Know your core message and the takeaway. So if you was an author going on a show and you were talking about your book, You want to know those key, the core messages that you want to instill in the audience of maybe why they need to purchase your book. And the takeaway is um what that book is about, what that book is pertaining to. Stay flexible and conversational. Stay flexible, because sometimes hosts can get to the point where they will go off script on you. And you got to be mentally prepared for that. Okay? Stay flexible and conversational. Always, keep the cut, but when you conversate, keep the conversation on what you're there to talk about is your main aspect of why you came on the show. Okay. Preparation builds confidence without sounding rehearsed. Preparation builds confidence without sounding rehearsed. Now, me, I am a host, and what I always do is I will send my guests a list of questions. I send my guests a list of questions that I will ask them in the interview, so they don't they don't be caught off guard. I like my guests to really be prepared because I like to ask questions. I send them this list in an email so they can prepare themselves for the interview on my show. Okay. I do not like to just throw random questions at my guests. I mean, might come if I do a random question, it will pertain to what that conversation is about. I do not try to how you say it. I don't want to have any unpreparedness with the guest being caught off guard. I think it's very disrespectful to do a guest like that and you catch them off guard and you change a horse in the middle of the race. Okay. Um, prepare them, get them ready, send them, always okay. So for this part, I would tell a author, okay, this is we keep the conversation about your book. I send you the questions. I always ask my guests to sign a consent form. I always ask my guests to sign a consent form to be on my show. And it's very important because it has to do with the legalities of your appearance. And I like to have them completely prepared for the interview. The legality part, which is your face, your name, your likeness. What is the other one? It's face, name, likeness, and something else that I use when I use it in commercial form, whether it's advertising, it is telling the audience, making your flyers, putting you out there, using your name, things of that nature. Where the consent forms allows me to use these things that I will be using for advertising commercial use. Okay. And always, 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 always when you're asked to do a show as a guest, please ask them, do I have to sign a consent form? And they be wondering, what you talking about? Okay, well, the consent form is such and such and such and such. Okay, always always be mindful to cover yourself as a guest when you are on a show as well. Don't just leave it up to the person that's hosting the show to really give you all the aspects. Um, Preparation builds confidence without sounding rehearsed. That means be prepared when be prepared. And I ask you the questions, be prepared. Read them, think of answers you would like to give, you want to give when I ask the question. Be and keep your answers short and sweet. Keep answers short and sweet and direct to the point, but kind of relaxed. Okay. Don't ramble on. Don't ramble. Don't ramble. Don't ramble. Cause then sometimes, when you ramble, you go off topic. Okay, so stay on topic. Okay. Number 3, tell clear, relatable stories. Story create connection and retention. If you ever watched any of my interviews with my guests, I always ask them about a backstory. How did you write? How did this book come to be? How did this idea come about? What inspired you? This is one of the questions on this paper. What inspired you to write your book? Right? Um, what inspired you? What inspired you to become an author? What inspired you to, how do you balance writing multiple books while managing other responsibilities? Things like that. Those are kind of questions, right? And like I said, create connection and retention. There's nothing wrong with telling the backstory, but keep it nice, short, and brief. Okay. Use personal or client experience wisely. If you're an author and you want to tell your personal story of how this book came to be, use that. You can use that. If you're doing an interview for your business, you're doing an interview for your business. Tell us this story of how your business came to be. How did you come up with your products and services? What was the first product you thought about making and things of that nature? Keep stories concise and relevant. Keep it concise and relevant. We don't want to wander off into the wilderness, okay? Um, let your testimony support your expertise. Let your testimony support your expertise. And when you give your testimony, you know, give that from the heart. Give it from the heart. Tell it like it is. Don't cut any corners. Don't cut no corners, because it's your testimony. You tell it the way you want to tell it. Okay? Um, also, let's see. Also, promote with purpose, not pressure. Promote with purpose and not pressure. Mention your book, your business, or offer naturally. You know, um, if you've ever, done a show, if you have other things besides the book, you kind of mention them kind of casually, um, let it flow. Focus on value before promotion. Focus on your value before promotion. Share resources the audience can act on. Share resources like, okay, well, my book was published with Rainique Publishing. That's my friend, Dr. Latoya Jeter McElroy. She's the owner of Rainique Publishing out of Arkansas, and she is a very well known author of 40 books, and she has her publishing company, and she has her Rainique Publishing bookstore also. And share the resource, share who published your book, share. You want to share the experience with someone else that has helped you along the way as well. Give them some exposure too. Ain't nothing wrong with sharing that. Share that I published my book with this company, I published my book with this person. Share your experience because they may be the next guest that this show needs or wants to hear from. You know, make your call to action simple and clear. Okay. Well, how can this is the question that leads to this call to action? So where can we find your books at? Where can we find your books at? You can find them on Kindle. You can find it on TikTok. You can find it on Kindle. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Lulu. You can find it on this. You can find it on that. You can go and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my podcast. You can those kind of things. When they say call to action, yes, subscribe, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Facebook. That's what a call to action is. You give them direction, you lead them somewhere, lead them to the things that are about you. Okay. Be professional before, during, and after. Okay. Be professional. Be professional before, during, and after. Where it is such a thing of show up on time. Show up on time. I always ask my guests to show up 15 minutes early so we can make sure that the audio and the video are working properly. Not just on my end, but on their end too. I also ask them if they have any questions they would like to discuss anything with me before we start the interview in that 15 minutes of time. If you have things, and be prepared. If you got your book. If they ask you to read an excerpt, okay, I gotta read an excerpt. Put the book beside you. Put the book down here beside you, and already have your excerpt ready to be read. What you're gonna read out the book, okay? Read only 1 or 2 paragraphs. Do not read 2 or 3 pages. Okay? Be prepared to read 1 or 2 paragraphs, not 2 or 3 pages. I say that because how can I say that sometimes we got to pique people's curiosity without giving them all the information. Okay? Pique their curiosity, get them interested. Oh, okay, this is what this book is about. Okay, this all right. Make them interested to purchase. Make them interested to go and check your book out and see what it's about. And um make it make it really professional when you're prepared. Have your book on the table for the read your excerpt. Have your excerpt ready. Make sure your internet is working. Okay, make sure internet working. Because I have seen a lot of times where the I'll be in the middle of an interview, and the internet will cut off on the end. Okay. Sometimes, um, because I'll say this. I was taught by someone that your bandwidth has to be higher in a certain percentage. Your bandwidth, that is how fast your internet works in order to keep doing live interviews, live broadcasts. Say you got a Zoom meeting, say you doing an interview on Zoom. You want to make sure your internet is working, is up to par, and has a high input, a high bandwidth, a high structure where it can sustain the use of doing live video. Okay. Because we don't want the internet to just say, okay, we don't want to work right now, in the middle of an interview, in the middle of a course, in the middle of a discussion, in the middle of anything. Okay. So the higher bandwidth you have on your internet, the better your internet works. Okay. Respect the host time and questions. Okay. Respect the host time and questions. This is one I want to give you. I want to give to those that do interviews. Okay. If you plan on bringing someone else to your interview, let the host know. If you plan on bringing someone else in the interview with you, let the host know. Do not pull the okey doke last minute stuff. Oh, this person gonna come in the interview with me, and then when I ask them questions, they talking about I don't want to talk about that. Okay, great. And then in that moment, you just killed the interview. I'm gonna give it to you straight up. When a person is not, when the host is not informed of this extra person in an interview, and then the person you want to ask this extra person in this interview that long that's you got somebody tagging along with you in an interview, and then you want to have a conversation with the other person, and the person says that in the middle of the interview. It's like, well, what else I got? Why you? I'm gonna say it. Why are you here then if you do not want to talk in this interview? I'm just giving you my 2 cents. You know, do not, keep the host informed. Keep the host informed of changes that are coming when you plan on saying, okay, I want to bring this other person. I want to bring this person with me. I want to bring someone else. And okay, well, um, they have to pay too, right? So that was an experience I had. That was an experience I had at an interview. That was an experience I had in an interview one time where the person brought someone else, and I was like, okay, you didn't tell me they was coming, and then when I talked to them, they didn't want to talk, but they want to talk about their products and services and things like that. But and always be prepared. Be prepared when you come for an interview to talk about why you wrote your book. Not go into a tangent of talking about like we on TikTok or something. Okay, it's a okay. An interview is totally different than a random talking that you're doing on the other social media apps. Remember that. An interview is totally different setting from like a regular TikTok live or YouTube live, or y'all just kicking it. Okay, you just having a conversation. And it's totally different than what it is. Um, than what it is if you was on Clubhouse. Okay, every platform and it has to do with the way the broadcast is presented. Okay, so respect the host and the questions. Okay, follow up with gratitude and promotion. Do not leave all the promotion on the host's lap. Do not leave all of the promotion. If you're gonna be interviewed somewhere, please do not leave all the promotion on the host's lap, the person that asked you to do the show. Do your part. That means every day, like you got an interview coming up, maybe like beginning of January, right? And you just got this, you just made the arrangements, that you find out the arrangements that you're going to be on someone's show, right? And they send you the flyers. Okay, you gotta wait for your flyers. They send you flyers, you approve the flyers. Okay, that means right from that start, right? From the start, you start advertising about you being on someone's show. Don't put all that on the host, because what you're doing, you're leaving your audience out of the movement. When you get an interview and you have solidified this interview, and okay, do promote yourself. Promote yourself. Put yourself out there. Get your followers involved in your interview. Get them involved. Get them to show up. Okay. Post every day. Post every day. Set set automatic posts in your Facebook. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it on TikTok. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it on LinkedIn. You can always advance. You can always uh, post it for later or post it now. You can always set it up for programming to post every day. Okay. Yes, it might be time consuming, but we don't want to leave no money on the table. Okay. Because when you exclude your audience, you're excluding your support. You want your support system to show up. You want your followers, your audience to show up for your interview. Okay. Professionalism leads to repeat invitations. Professionalism leads to repeat invitations. Always carry yourself as if you are on national television, regardless of where you are going. Whether it's a virtual interview or you are in a studio, always keep your professionalism and your professionalism at top shelf. Uh, you know, um, you know, carry, you got some oomph about yourself. You got some power there with your story. You got some power behind you, and no one can take that away from you. So always lead with your professionalism. You walk in with your head up high, you show up, you got makeup on, you got clothes, you got pow 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 pow, look good. That is because people can tell how you feel by the way you dress. Did I just? Yes, I did just say that. You're doing an interview. Don't show up in a hoodie. Don't show up in a hoodie. Don't show up in, oh well, I got a hair do rag on my head. My hair ain't done. I got you know, make sure your environment is tidy. Make sure you are in a space that's well lit. Make sure that you have yourself ready for this interview where can't nobody come in and disturb your interview. Get in a quiet space. Get in a quiet space where there are no interruptions in your interview. Okay? No TV on. Do not disturb on cell phone. Okay? When you're doing an interview, don't that is one thing that I was told, and I took a coaching class. I took a coaching class on how to be a host, how to have my own shows. So, and the thing is, my coach told me to always turn off my cell phone when I'm doing an interview. The interview is more important than them ding ding dings on the phone. Okay. And they are distracting if they go off in an interview. Okay. You turn the cell phone off or put it on do not disturb. Be in a nice quiet environment when you do a interview. No TV, no loud, no loud, no loud music, no none. Quiet. It is more professional that way. What are some other things I wanted to share with y'all? Your lighting. Always have lighting over you. If you are doing an interview, your thing is you want the light to be in your face and not behind you. Because if it's behind you, your face will be dark and we want to see your face. If you have say like a lamp, lamp, regular lamp, or you can get one of those desk lamps and use it as a light for your face. Or you can get some high, you get them high tech, lights where they put them and they got the cameras and the umbrellas and all. You could do that, but just starting off, if you're starting to do interviews for your book as an author, as an entrepreneur, okay, you may want to get a nice desk lamp, and face it towards you. Okay. Always be in the light, not in the darkness. What else did I want to share? Um, clean environment. Clean environment. That means that you want to get into a nice space where there is no clutter. If you do your interview in the bedroom, make sure your bed made. We don't want to be looking behind your bed ain't made, ain't no sheets on the bed, ain't clothes all over the floor and stuff. Come on now, come on. It's called professionalism for a reason. What else? What else? What else? Do not do an interview on a cell phone. Do not do your interviews if if you're having an interview and you got to be on camera. Do them on a computer. Do them on the computer. Do them from desktop or laptop. Desktop or laptop. That's it. Do not do an interview on a cell phone or a tablet because, and don't do an interview while you're driving, while you're in a car. Don't do that. Okay, you have ample time to get yourself together for an interview that can be done at a desk or in your home, and have your camera at level in have the camera at level where we can see your face and mid part of your body. Okay, okay, we want to see your face. We, don't do an interview in a car because that's noise in the background. That's noise in the background, and it is not it's not professional. It's just that's not it. My coach used to tell me that if you in a car and you riding, I'll just give you the example what my coach said. If you in a car and you riding and say something happened while you're a passenger, you may be a passenger, or you may be driving. Okay, something could happen in the twinkling of an eye, and God forbid, and something could happen during your interview. We don't want that to happen during the interview. We don't want those mishaps to happen during the interview. So always do your interview at home or in a space. You can even go to the library. You can go to the library and use one of the little small rooms. Ask them, okay, I got an interview and I need a quiet space to do an interview. Can you know, how can I go about using your library to do that? I need a quiet room. You can do a library. Um, so yes. I wanted to also let you know that please, when you're having an interview, make sure everybody knows that this interview is an interview. Not where they're walking in and out the room on you, um, coming, interrupting, things of that nature. Find you a quiet space where there are no interruptions. And if you're in a room that has a door, close the door. Do not get up. Do not get up in the middle of the interview saying, I gotta go check something. Do not get up in the middle of an interview and saying, I got to check something. Make sure everything is handled before you sit down to that interview. Okay? I hope these helped you very much so. And um my name is Sharise Johnson Moore, and I love helping authors. I love helping entrepreneurs. I love helping faith-based leaders with their exposure to be seen, heard, and known. Okay. And I wanted to say, if you are in need of a visibility strategy session, please come see me. Please come see me. I have the one-on-one visibility strategy session available to the end of the month. It's still on the Black Friday sale, okay? And it consists of having a it consists of a 3 hour it consists of 3 hours. It consists of 3 hours of us getting to understand what your visibility needs are. Okay. It consists of you sitting down with me and we putting a strategy together. Okay. And it is a 3 hour private session held on the Riverside app, Riverside FM. Riverside is the equivalent of Zoom and StreamYard. And it is done on Riverside. We have up to 3 hours to do your visibility strategy session, customized visibility action plan delivered after the session. We personalize the feedback on your current marketing efforts. We list of visibility opportunities like podcast interviews, collaborations, and speaking engagements, and other things that may pertain to your visibility. Plus, you also get a visibility checklist. It will be in a PDF form. You receive that. We sit down, we sit down and we talk about if you're a first time author who want to promote the books powerfully, entrepreneurs building personal brands, and speakers looking to land more stages and or interviews, and coaches that want to grow their audience, and we also go through identifying visibility gaps in your business marketing. We map out the custom strategies, to attract the ideal clients for your business, find speaking, podcasting, collaboration opportunities, and learn how to position yourself as an authority. Okay. And I wanted to say it is so important. It is in the chat for the link. You can sign up, and I will greatly appreciate all of your love and support. So, we are here. We are here. We are here. We are here. We have the one-on-one visibility strategy session that you can make an appointment with me about. And I greatly appreciate all that you do. All right. And I want to say, if you would like, here's an assignment. I want to give you an assignment. Okay, I want to give you an assignment. Here is your day 18 action step. Before your next interview, write down your top 3 talking points and your one clear call to action. Before your next interview, write down your top 3 talking points and your one clear call to action. Okay? And I want, hey, I want to prepare you. I want to help you prepare, help you prepare for interviews, podcasts, and media appearances. So I invite you to book your one-on-one visibility strategy session with me today. The link is in the chat. And I also, you can book your session today. Okay. And if this series here has blessed you, you can support the platform through donations. Yes, your support helps me continue creating content and resources. You can donate through Cash App, PayPal, or Stripe. Okay? I want to let you know you can do that through PayPal or Stripe. Yes, you can do some donations. Support the podcast. Support the broadcast. Yes, through Cash App, PayPal, or Stripe. And I want to let you know that I'll see you tomorrow for day 19. Day 19, stay visible, stay prepared, and show up with excellence. I'm Sharise Johnson Moore, and I want to thank you for coming in for day 18 of 30 Days of Visibility YouTube series. I want y'all to have a blessed night. Now, go ahead and be great.